morning, lovelies. Ignore this. This is my TikTok props and setup. Anyway, if you're in the book community, you've probably heard the terms academia and especially dark academia get thrown around a lot, especially last year, which has led to a lot of people asking, what the hell is academia? And how is dark academia different from light academia? Well, I'm gonna answer that question right now. Academia is both a genre and an aesthetic. We're gonna talk about it as a story genre, but it's more broadly considered an aesthetic for music, design, and especially fashion. Academia is not a new genre by any means, but the term is new, as is its popularity. The academia genre in terms of storytelling is literally about academia, education, especially college education, and the role that higher learning plays on people and society. Almost every academia book takes place in an academic setting, at least in the first half. Some sort of school or academy or a university, and sometimes the second half will include the characters going out into the world to utilize what they've learned in the wider world. Technically, and I hate to bring it up, but I feel I have to make the point, Harry Potter is an academia story, with the first book starting as light academia, and it slowly transitions to dark over the course of the series. Right around here is where that transition really starts. And yes, academia can be fantasy, or science fiction, or historical, or literary, or any other genre. But it doesn't necessarily have to center around students and school. If the story itself has a certain reverence or respect for education and literature, then it can be considered academia. This is where we find a lot of Jane Austen works, as most of her characters love reading. And because they're lighthearted and they have happy endings, they would be considered light academia. Dark academia is darker. If you're on Book Talk or Bookstagram, then you probably saw this book all over the place last year. Babel is classic dark academia. It takes place primarily at a university. The four main characters are all students, and their characters develop as each learn more about the history, language, and society. What makes it dark academia, other than the fact that it's written by R.F. Kuang, is that it's all about imperialism and colonialism. It does not flinch away from the history of oppression. The fantasy institution of Babel is specifically designed to help the British Empire conquer the rest of the world. When the characters are confronted with that fact, some are okay with it, while others break, and others still decide they have to fight back. Lots of people die. So the difference between light and dark academia is really just a difference in tone. If it's lighthearted, or it at least has a happy ending, then it's probably light academia. If there's a lot more death, depression, and at best a bittersweet ending, then it's dark. As with most things, there is a middle ground. I just finished reading Murder Your Employer, a dark academia about a college that teaches its students not just how to murder someone, but how to get away with it. And I'm not talking the O.J. Simpson type of getaway, I mean no one's even gonna suspect you. That right there puts it under the dark academia umbrella. But it's also got a lot of comedic moments, and it has a happy ending, which pulls it closer to light academia. What makes a story academia in the first place, really it's a matter of aesthetic, which is frustrating because that can be hard to describe and pin down. But it really is one of those you know it when you see it kind of things. If most characters, but especially the main character, spends a good chunk of the story reading or thinking about books or studying a particular subject, you can make a case that it is academia. I was today years old when I realized that my science fiction novel could probably be classified as sci-fi academia. Olivia goes on a very dangerous, ill-advised solo mission into the flooded forest, basically to study the creatures that everyone has thought of as demons, but she now has reason to believe that there's something far more reasonable. She spends the first chunk of the book breaking into the library and reading whatever scant information there is available about the so-called demons. Then most of the book is her off in the forest studying, asking questions, and writing everything down. And then the last part of the book is her trying to share her findings in a way that will not get her executed by the state for treason and heresy. dark sci-fi academia, I guess. Citadel comes out in June. You can pre-order that in the description, but if you cannot wait that long, I also have an epic fantasy novella series. The first 2 books, To Kill a Necromancer and Hedgarab's Curse, are already out and linked. No academia there, but it does have a paladin who's forced to team up with the necromancer in order to save the world, which is based on ancient Greece and Rome. That is the difference between light and dark academia. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, as well as any book, movie, or TV suggestions that you have. I will see you next time. Bye, lovelies.